Hi, I'm Gil Benbrook with Phoenix Stages and TalkinBroadway.com, and I'm here behind the scenes at Arizona Broadway Theater with Eric Angelo, who is the new executive chef here at ABT. Eric, thanks for talking to me today.
Absolutely.
You've got a vast experience of culinary skills and training. You've lived all over the country. Now you're here in Phoenix. So what makes the ABT experience different, and what have you learned from your training that is maybe the most important things you brought here to ABT?
Well, I think with part of my travels is, being kind of traditional and learning and growing through the ranks to learn such different techniques to bring to a place like this. And this is kind of a different, it's a twofold type of entity. It's a restaurant and it's kind of a banquet cooking, so it's two entities in one. So having the different experiences I've had in my travels and my growth into becoming an executive chef and my being an executive chef at different places has kind of helped me, understand how to make this the food better here, more of an enjoyable experience for the patrons. And it presents its challenges because it's, it's putting out mass amount of food in a quick amount of time, but at the same time having to be very creative with it, make sure the flavor profiles are there, and make sure that it looks like it's top notch. So I get to kind of be an executive chef in a small restaurant and create really fantastic looking plates. But I also get to be the banquet chef that has to put out those fantastic plates in a really short amount of time.
Right. So let's talk about the food.
Sure.
And I'm sure, if you work at a restaurant where the menu doesn't change a lot, maybe you have a new special every couple of days, every week. Here at ABT, for every show, the menu changes. So what are the benefits to that, and what are the challenges of that?
Well, I think the challenge is to make sure that, having heard and started to learn the history of the patrons and the guests and what's worked and not worked here is, for example, if I don't have salmon, I get run out of steak because there's no salmon on the menu, but because it's something people love here. And so taking what they love, but recreating it. So, I once had an executive chef tell me that we are artists. And I truly believe that's what's been one of my biggest things as an executive chef, is that I'm an artist, and I'm an artist on a plate. And so that's what I love about being here and doing the food here, is because there's a show out there, but there's a show here.
Right.
And that show is what we do to put that art that the people get to eat before they get to see. So I get to wow them with sight and taste and texture, and then they get to be wowed with sound and sight as well. So I think it kind of incorporates together wonderfully, and I like bringing that here. But the challenge is also the mass amount of people. In the short time I've been here, of course I walked in at the busiest time of the season, and all of a sudden 400 dinners, and I'm like, okay. But I have a really wonderful crew, and in developing the crew with new people and getting them to do that, and with an ever-changing menu, it's not just me. And I think that's one thing people should understand is, the executive chef has so much to do, but sometimes we actually get pulled into here more than we do there. And, actually that's who truly does, my crew is who truly makes me an executive chef, because of the different personalities and flavor profiles and, their artistic ability. So that's what being an executive here to me is, because I have my own cast of actors out there and artists out there. So between all of us, we get to create something really awesome for him.
So you mentioned about how it's not really a wedding banquet, but it's sort of like that, and how you have a great staff. So on some two-show days, you can serve around 800 patrons, food to 800 patrons, all in a relatively short time. Within 1 to 2 hours before the show starts, you have to feed all these people. So what do you think is the biggest challenge in doing that and ensuring that they always get a high-quality meal?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is just making sure that your ingredients are fresh and that you're prepped. And that's one of my biggest things is maybe it's just my OCD that being always ready ahead. And that's a challenge in itself, making sure enough product, or that you're gauged enough. And sometimes it's a guessing game, and that's really kind of your challenge is to make sure that you got it right. As far as the count, how many that you prepped out. You don't want to over prep because the ingredients are also expensive. So having that, but really it's just, we like to think of it as an adrenaline rush. Most chefs and cooks are adrenaline junkies, because we have 2 hours of utter chaos, and it's just go, 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 and I walk up and down the line, and I'm barking, and they're reacting, but at the end of an hour and a half, 2 hours, like magic happened, and it seems like it was nothing. So, actually the prep and getting ready is a challenge, but not a challenge. And I would say the challenge is what I've already said. But the part where I don't think it's a challenge is because of taking experience and prepping yourself and prepping your staff and your crew kind of makes it like, you know, a fun adrenaline rush, and let's get this going. And 2 shows a day, it's a challenge, especially when it's 800 people.
Yeah.
It really is. And the challenge is, you know, always in this business, making everybody happy. And the reality is I try my best. So.
And I think the other thing that's different about what maybe some people that haven't been to ABT, that when they hear dinner theater, is this isn't a buffet. It's a plated service, and people have choices. So you have to be prepared for everybody ordering the salmon or everybody ordering the chicken, right?
Sure.
You have to be prepared for anything, and I guess if it was a buffet, I'm sure it wouldn't be as exciting and not much of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So ABT is approaching their 100th production next season, and they've also had over 850,000 patrons in the 11 years that they've been around. Are there any interesting facts about what goes on here in the kitchen, you know, that you want people to know?
I just want them to know that, you know, as much that happens in the front happens in the back. The preparedness to make sure that their experience for the dining is as much as the preparedness is for their experience for the show. I think it's 2 entities that come together very well, and sometimes I think people miss that, and I think that they're not quite aware, you know, of how much effort we put in to make sure that meal is the finest meal that you can get for what you're coming here for, and that we really do put a lot of love and artistry and thought into what we're serving the guests, and to making sure that they're getting the highest quality with the freshest ingredients that I can bring in and serve them. So, and I think, you know, 850,000 people, that's an amazing number, a staggering number. Till now I did not know, so that's awesome. And 100 shows, I mean, I look forward to
100 productions.
Or 100 productions, actually.
Performances.
I look forward to, you know, being a part of that, you know, and serving that and making it something really special. And I think the other thing too is that, you know, we're always looking to expand, push the limits and push the boundaries here as to what food can be. And that's kind of my goal, is to show the patrons here that, you know, it's not just meat and potatoes on a plate.
Yeah.
You know, look beyond what's there and taste it and understand it, you know, all while meeting what they want and their needs, because they're truly who keep me working and keep me painting.
Well, thanks a lot, Eric.
Absolutely.
I'm Gil Binberg from Talkin' Broadway and PhoenixStages.com, here with Eric Angelo, the executive chef here at Arizona Broadway Theater.